vital cog in the wheel of horse racing anywhere in the world are the times done by horses during the exercise periods. The task of getting those exercise times is the work of the clockers. Tony Chadman has been performing the duties of a clocker for several decades, having to reach the track at 5 a.m. in the mornings, and there are no rest days. It is a demanding task, with Chadman saying his love for horses and the sport of horse racing are the determining factors for his longevity. Chadman, in a rare interview, reveals the work of being a clocker, and his own personal career, on QuickGallop.com and its YouTube channel, The Quick Galloper.
Speaking here with Raymond Tony Chadman, one of the clockers here at Cayman Spa. You're involved in an important aspect of the sport, timekeeping, well, clocking of horses. Give the public an idea what that entails.
Well, letter by letter, so to speak, one ski at a time. Kind of tedious work in a sense, because I have to be up in the mornings and be at the track by 5 o'clock when the track opens. I have to get yourself ready. That's when the horses are on the track. Get the thing together. Timing, identifying the horse that comes down, preparing for work in the mornings.
How do you identify the horses? That's the first stage.
Well, not an easy task, I can tell you. Because, you know, we have different shades of grays, and as I said before, we start working by 5 o'clock in the morning. I know that's dark in some sense. If you look at the horses, for instance, for grey horses, you have markings, shapes, and so on. A lot of bay horses and chestnuts usually have markings on their feet and the face. They have blaze, they have star, etc., etc. But also the greys, few greys have any definite marking. You have to just have to know the shape built of the horses.
Okay, and how do you identify now the type of work that the horse is doing?
To be frank already, very few trainers call us, until when the horses are going to work. Otherwise than that, we have to be looking all over the place. I have a binoculars, members of the team have binoculars, look all over the place. Look for the preparation, for instance, they get going, they're going to get a 5 furlong gallop. You see jacket motion on the horses, them make a motion, so you see the horses start rolling.
A number of horses would work in the mornings. How many clockers do you have to fully service those numbers?
We have 6 clockers, and exclusive of, inclusive because our coordinator do clock sometimes, which is Mr. Joshua Graham. But officially we have 6 clockers there working.
Okay, and you think that's adequate to get the job done? Yeah,
man, basically, yeah. Because we are coordinating in some places, for instance, 2 clockers are looking at the back sets, 2 clockers on the 5 straight, 2 clockers are on, so we coordinate the work.
And you start from 5, you say, in the morning, until what time?
During the week is 10 o'clock, like Saturday and Sunday, weekend, depending on the track close, because post time differ. You have sometime the post time 11:30, that means about 9 o'clock before the track closing at time.
So it's a 7-day a week?
Right around, boss, right around.
And as they would say, no rest for the wicked.
I say for the wicked part there, but no rest, hardly no rest, because I say you have to be up and be here by 5 o'clock when the track opens and start for exercise.
Right. Timing is important. How accurately do you get the job? That's one. And 2, how important is what you do to the overall scheme of things?
First and foremost, accurate. The accuracy of it, I would say we are 98% there, because we do make mistakes. Because it's not perfect. Sometimes 2 or 3 horses they start rolling. And if you don't mind sharp and be careful, you get those horses mixed up. So you have to be there, pointing there, looking, paying attention, as you don't make such mistakes. So
the second part of the question, how important is clocking of horses? So
very much so, very much so. I can tell you that. Let a race day come, and you hear the backstretch people you call they are real birds, them talking about the horse gone such and such and such, and that working out in the book are similar to what they are talking. And because, you know, people tout just to get their boss, or etc., etc. So we are always in the red, and in some senses, people are just blame clockers. But it's not an easy thing. People out there, it's not an easy thing. Come down and see it because we have had guests down here, guests including for 2 vets, one how we do it. It's not an easy thing, but we get there. We do get there.
Do you have trainers that ask you clockers to specifically time their horses in preparation for races?
Yeah, man. Without a doubt, man. You have trainers like Stephen Todd, Baba Nunes, Mikey Marlowe, Mr. Lynch. Then you have a good amount of trainers. Call us day by day, because you have to know other horses working in preparation with their race that they're coming up. They want to know which horse is preparing for their race. Mr. Passard, etc., especially in big races coming up, usually call us and ask us about their horses as well as other trainers' horses preparing for the races.
Tony, you have been around a long time. How did you get to this? How did it all start for you?
To be frank, one day I was at a stable and the tree and I got in a little bit, like a, no really argument, but a little bit first. And I came up on the track and sat beside a pal years gone by, like a weevil. I sat to weevil and there, sitting weevil, came back morning after morning after morning, and weevil said to me that, "It's like you're interested, man." And so I love horses and I like what you're doing. And he gave me a watch. Sometimes those days they had a round watch, not like we have nowadays. And from that I started timing horses, getting to know the horses, them looking at the markings and so on, because those days the clockers would write down the markings of the horses, and like nowadays we don't need hard to write down, jot them, but they used to write them down and don't make a mistake. And that's how I become a clocker.
And when was that?
Way back in the 70s, man, about 78, 79 there on.
You said you were at a stable. What were you doing at the stable?
I was with Lanny Stewart learning the rope. Trainer Humphrey Stewart, Lanny Stewart, learning the ropes of training racehorses.
So you were basically like an assistant trainer?
Not really reached that stage, but I wanted to become one. I branched off later on. I went to go along with Miss Chen, Miss Emma Chen, the late Emma Chen, George Williams, people like those, to assistant with them. But things got a little bit, assistant trainers don't get paid. So I left for a while, went and work, came back in again.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Without a doubt, man. If I didn't, I would have left a long time ago, man. You can imagine?
When you started in the 70s as opposed to now, 50 years later, how has what you do changed? When you started with that round clock and making notes to what you do now, how has it changed?
Back then, the training of racehorses totally from now. People like the guy Bill Williams, Kenneth Mattis, people like those, the methods of training different from what I see now. The clocking thing just similar thing, because the only thing is different to watches, because we have technology watches different from back then. But if I have to do it all over again, I'll go back in the old time days.
And in carrying out your job functions, you would have seen some of the best horses here, jockeys too. Who would you consider the best horse you have seen race here?
Without a doubt, Legal Light, man. Without a doubt, Legal Light. He was no sprinter. Then the Viceroy. Viceroy is the most versatile horse I've seen at Cayman's Park. Sprint stay. But Legal Light. Billy Williams, Miracle Man. Of all the top fillies I've seen so far, Thornbird and Rainy Costa's Super Filly Manita, who's are the top two. She's a Manita. Those are the top two fillies I've seen. They have been other good horses. Around the place, but Legal Light.
And if you were to go to jockeys, who would be some of the top riders you see here?
Best jockey I've seen so far coming up. Let's say Arthur Jones. The latter years of Arthur Jones, I've seen about few rides from him, but it was good, real good. Georgia Song come to mind. Winston Griffiths, Emily Rodriguez, top 3 there. Hubert Bartley, Andrew Ranjit, but top it all, Georgia Song.
And presently, who would you say?
Batch of jockeys here. presently. I like Al Lewis. Not saying the best, I like Al Lewis. There's here Thomas, Dane Dawkins. I like Al Lewis. Gay Nelson's that riding here, so I'm going with Al Lewis. I like him style ride. His stance is almost perfect in saddle. You just have to use his head together and put the max on, but I like Al Lewis.
And finally, you made mention of training methods earlier in this interview. Name me some of your top trainers you would have seen here.
First and foremost, Bill Williams, Kenneth Mattis. The two Silveras I've seen a lot of the years here. Philip Fiani, without a doubt, Wayne Costa. Come to mind, you have Azor Lee. Not to mention, I can't forget Mr. Hazan. Mr. Hazan had done it all, one all feature with all eventful races that came as back. Mr. Hazan has won them. So you have to put him there also. But first and foremost, Billy Williams and then Mattis.
All right, Tony, I want to thank you for giving the public a better understanding and appreciation of what you do, clocking horses. Thank you and all the best.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thank you for watching another video produced by the team from QuickGallop.com, YouTube channel, The Quick Galloper. Please stay on the channel for more enlightening videos on those involved in local horse racing. Please like, subscribe, and press the notification bell.